So that's from
Yeah, or
how you guessed?
yeah, amana. Yeah, so like things that they're sort of entrusted with, I suppose. And then wa'adihim is their sort of like promises or contracts. Well, I'd say like promises or things that
Yeah.
they've like said they're gonna do.
Covenants. So promise is wa'ad, or warda, like we have this in Urdu. So that's promise. And then ahad is when you've like taken an oath or something.
Okay.
Ahdihim means their oaths. And again, the li amanatihim is like of their, referring to the trust. So those of their trusts and their covenants, ra'un.
Okay. Ra'un. So like watchful. I don't actually know what word it comes from, but
Yeah, I'm just gonna double check. But like with this, for example, even if you don't know, you can kind of guess
yeah.
that it's talking about, okay, the trust and their oaths. What is it going to be? Could be fulfilling or being true to, so things like that. So sometimes it's okay to not know all the words, and you can sort of guess the meaning still, like we do in English when we're reading and we guess. So Hiba, you want to go next?
والذين هم على صلواتهم يحافظون. So والذين again, like and those, hum like referring to them. على is on, and then صلواتهم from salah, like, and then him theirs, so their prayers. يحافظون. So you're saying last time, hif is to protect. So and those who protect their prayers.
Yeah, so they're protective of them and they guard their prayers, basically. Very kind of like protective of it. Good. So one thing I want to introduce is this ya here. So that's verse 9. So yuhafilun. Now this is one of those like prefixes which we'll cover. So there's like, you can insert different things at the beginning. So for example, alif, noon, ta, ya, etc. And alif and noon is referring to first person. So if I do something, I will put an alif behind that verb. And then the ta refers to second person, you. And then ya is basically him, her, them. So this would be third person. So here it says yuhafilun, so it means that it's talking about like a third person kind of perspective, right? It's not referring to I or you, it's referring to them. Could have been a he, she, or them. How do you know it's them? Is because, can anyone guess?
The una at the end, I guess.
Exactly. So that tells you that it's a group of people. So that tells you that this ya is referring to a group. And then if it, for example, tuhafilun, it would mean you guard, and it would be you plural, and you would deduce that again because of the un at the end. And then if there was no un, it was like tuhafil or tahfil, that would mean you guard. Tuhafil, you guard, and this would be singular person, you talking to one person. Make sense? And then same if you were to, God says nuhafil, that means we protect. So it's basically same 3-letter root, change the prefix, and you change the meaning. Berivan, your turn.
أولئك هم الوارثون. أولئك, those who, whom, those who, الوارثون. Okay, وارث, وارث, وارثون, وارثة.
Do you have
وارث.
Turkish? We have it in Urdu, warith. meaning
Yeah, Turkish doesn't.
heirs or someone who like inherits something is a warith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those who are the inheritors,
Yeah.
warithun,
Yeah.
the inheritors, al-warithun.
Exactly. But just
Inheritors of something.
all that will be in the next verse.
Oh, okay.
Oh, your turn.
الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون. الذين, those who يرثون الفردوس, who inherit al-Firdaus. I guess that's like sort of one of the levels of Jannah, I guess, or it's talking about, referring to Jannah. Whom, they, fiha, in it, khalidun is their like remain forever.
Good. So basically, fiha is from, this was number 11, isn't it? So fiha is a combination of fi, which we know means in, and then ha is like it, so in it. But you could also have fihi or fiha. So this is something in the Arabic language that sometimes some objects are referred to as like with masculine pronouns and some with feminine. So the ha is a feminine pronoun and fihi would be a masculine. So they both mean it. So it could have been fihi or fiha. So here it's referring to al-Firdaus being referred to with the feminine pronoun. Yeah, Khalidun. Now, Khalidun, the root word for this, you'll see this is quite common in the Quran. So, Khalid, Khuld, it always means, so, so this means to abide somewhere forever, but also someone who stays in a place forever. You can convert it to a noun. You know the word Khalid, the name Khalid is basically someone who stays and remains in a place. I guess it would imply that this person is hopefully a resident of paradise forever. And then also, so you'll see Yakhlud, for example, Yakhlud a lot in the Quran. It's basically the same. Yakhlud would mean to live, and it's like yeah, so you would know that it's referring to he lives. If it was yakhludun, that would be, what would it be? They live, exactly. Takhludun would be, so the ta is ta prefix for plural, takhludun. What else was there? Nakhlud. Yeah. And then akhlud would be I live. Yeah. We live. Nakhludun, probably. Make sense? So that's how like these prefixes are used. So that's what I wanted to introduce in this lesson. هم فيها خالدون. Okay. 12. Hiba?
وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ. So, wa and لَقَدْ, I know that refers to like make, but I don't know.
Not لقد. قد was something else.
Oh, remind me.
قد was when something has happened in the past.
Right, okay.
And also sort of like emphasis past.
Okay. I meant خلق. خلقنا means we made.
Yeah.
And so al-insan is, and like man, min from sulalatin, I don't know what that is. Min teen, min is from, and teen is clay or soil.
Yeah. So sulala is like it can refer to different things. People translate it different ways, but it's either like extract of clay or something resembling clay, or, you know, from
Origin, maybe?
so from an essence of clay, it means quite.
I think we have it in Turkish, what sulale, like the family or their origin, if I'm translating correctly in my head.
Family.
Like,
So maybe
it's
that
they're
would
like,
make sense. That would go with something.
yeah, maybe like something like this, the whole, like they're one big family. Maybe the origin is the same. I think that's where.
So, and then خلقنا, how did you know it was we made?
Because of the na at the end.
Exactly. So, yeah, so the noon can also be in the beginning or the end, and it would mean the same thing. So خلقنا الإنسان was good. Berivan, your turn. Berivan?
Internet. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Sorry. I think something went wrong. Okay. ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين. ثم then جعلناه جعلنا it is either we created or we came. But I think in this context, it is we created.
You're, I think, confusing it with ja'a, which means came.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Is made or created.
Yes. Okay. So then we created because of the na.
Yeah.
It, who, nutfatan, nutfa. Wait, it is like sperm? No, sperm clot, something. Yeah. في قرار in قرار. I remember you said once it's like in balance or in good measure.
No, they
Okay.
confusing with qadr, which is measure.
Oh, okay.
Qarar,
قرار مكين.
a nice resting place.
Oh,
Qarar,
yes. Yeah,
like
okay.
peaceful, secure. Qarar, and then makeen is from makan. Do you remember?
Place.
Yeah, makan.
Yes, makan. Yeah, okay, makin. And the other word was what? Sorry.
Your place.
The measurement. It was
Measurement was qadr.
qadr.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So one thing I want to mention here is ja'alnahu. So this is like another verb form that you will see because it basically includes both the subject and the object. So ja'alnahu. So ja'ala, this is like the main verb, which means made or created. Ja'al. And then nahu. So it tells you two things. The na tells you we, and the who is it or him. So remember how I said who or ha, it refers to it, you know, at the end. So here it was fihi, fiha. So it's the same who here, ja'alnahu. So now this tells you together that it says we made it. Right? So it's like a more complex form of that because it has both the suffixes. And for example, let me give you another example. جعلته, or let's say جعلناها would be the feminine equivalent. جعلناها. So that would also include we made it. And this time the it would be something that's referred to with a feminine thing. Also, it could be, suppose, جعلناك, we made, what would the ka be? Does anyone remember?
You.
Exactly. So we made you. And what if it was okay, what if it was جعلناكم? What would that be?
We made you like plural group.
Referring to someone or a group of people. جعلناكم. Same thing. جعلناه could be made plural with جعلناهم. Yeah? We made them. So again, so what you need to do basically while trying to figure out something, first of all, figure out what the 3-letter root word is, and then the rest of the letters will usually be the prefixes. Okay, ooh, this is a long one. Who's getting this one?
I think I'm next.
Okay.
Okay, so ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. Okay, so ثم خلقنا النطفة, then we created نطفة. Is that what we said was sort of, was that the one we said was a sperm drop or?
Yeah.
Okay. علقة, maybe that's like a clot, like clot.
You might have heard this in like the other surah, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق الإنسان من علق. So we created man from an علق, like a clinging clot of blood.
Yeah. Okay, so we created nutfa, then is sort of a sperm drop, علقة, clot. I don't know what's the relationship between those two, but and then
the sperm into a clot.
Okay.
So one thing with the Arabic language, sometimes there's no like intermediate little words that we use, like to, that we make into that. So mostly what you'll guess by is this an at the beginning. So an nutfa ta alaqa. And also from like the context of what's being talked about and like the verb that came before it. So we created an-nutfa alaqa. So that kind of like, that kind of tells you that it's referring to the sperm drop being created into the alaq. And you'll get more examples of this.
That makes sense. Cool. And then, okay, so then وَخَلَقْنَا الْعَلَقَةَ مُضْغَةً, so then we created, I suppose, from the clot, مُضْغَةً. I actually don't really know what مُضْغَةً would be.
Mudghah, like a little lump of flesh.
Okay.
Really undefined.
Okay, so then made that into a lump of flesh, then وَخَلَقْنَا الْمُضْغَةَ عِظَامًا, then we created from the lump of flesh عظاما, bones.
Yeah.
وكسونا العظام لحما. So then كسونا, we I want to say,
so kiswa is like a word that comes to mind. I don't know why. Is that
clothes, right?
kiswa of the Kaaba is the cloth of the Kaaba, right?
Yeah.
So kasawna is basically linked to that. So it means clothing something.
Okay. Yeah, so then we like clothed, yeah, whatever. So we sort of the bones into lahma is flesh.
Yeah. So we clean the bones with the flesh.
That's the flesh, yeah. ثم أنشأناه, then we created it. And ansha, because I think ansha is to create, right? Or make.
نشأة الأولى, for example, the first creation. أنشأنا. Yeah, ansha'na is used quite a lot in the Quran, so you might have come across it, referring to like sometimes plants or ansha'na bihi nabata or something like that, like we created the plants. So there's quite a few words for created. Like we've just basically covered khalaq, and then we did ja'al, right? Ja'al is like made. And then ansha is usually from like growth or production. So this is usually used for plants and stuff. And khalaq is like create. And then ja'al is more in context of made something. To create usually of like living beings. Or خلق السماوات والأرض, made the heavens and the earth. Okay. And okay. خلقا آخر.
So then ثم أنشأنا خلقا آخر. Then we made / or created خلقا, last creation. Is آخر is last.
Last. So in this verse, it's basically like a completely new creation. And it's because it's like the latest and last. That's why the آخر is used. And then
فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. تبارك, is it sort of like praise be to Allah,
or like blessed? Tabarak is from baraka, so baraka is blessing, right? So tabarak, and that is basically linked. Tabarak, and you see this a lot in the Quran, right? So tabarak alladhi biyadihi al-mulk, and then blessed is the one in whose hand is al-mulk. So tabarak, and it's like baraka, which means and barakna, for example, that would be the verb form. So blessing is obviously a noun, and then blessed is the adjective, and then you can make that into, so the main roots are usually verb form. So if you just have ba, ra, and ka, that would basically mean like he blessed, and it's usually like past form. So if you just have the 3 letters, and then you can kind of like move them around, add stuff and make it into a noun, make it into adjective, but the core is a verb. So for example, you will see a lot in the Quran barakna, for example. So barakna, I don't think there would be a alif, I don't know, barakna. So what would that mean?
We blessed.
We blessed, exactly. Barakna. Barak. And you know how people say Barakallahu fikum? May God bless you. Barakallah. So now what they're doing is they're adding the subject. This is a difference with English and Arabic, is that sometimes in Arabic the subject actually comes after the verb. So it's like Barakallah, may Allah bless you. Barakallah. Barak. Sorry?
Barakna, why is that not bless us?
Bless us?
The subject's coming after.
Yeah. Allahumma barik. I think that would be barikna. So that sometimes the vowels you would call these barikna. Allahumma
Because
barik. Or barik lana, that would be like bless for us, you know? Barak.
Because I think with the barakna, like, because you know how it would have been like baraka. So I think if you're making it we, like, that's when you sort of remove the like a at the end, and you like put a sukun, and then you add na, and so it's like we, sort of, that's doing the action.
Hmm.
So I think, yeah, that'd be
So,
blessed.
and then how would we say bless us then? I've only heard in du'as like barik lana, right? So I'm not sure. That's another thing. My grammar still sucks, but that's okay.
No, come on.
That's not an impediment to understanding the Quran. I mean, it's a good example. This is like primarily what I want to show you guys is that my Arabic is still pretty awful, but that doesn't matter. Okay.
No, it's not.
That's
Where were we? Okay. Tabarakallahu ahsanul khaliqin.
cool. So tabarakallahu ahsan al-khaliqin. So we said then that means so blessed is Allah. Ahsanul khaliqin, the best of khaliqin, I guess, is like those who create. So the best of creators.
Exactly. And so like ahsan, how do you know it means the best? Because husn just means good.
I think, I'm not quite sure, but I thought like sort of a lot of the words in that form tend to be sort of like superlative. So like if you have a'lamu is like the one who sort of knows most. So I just figured.
Alif, very good. That's the alif. So for example, Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest. You know. So again, kabir just means big or great. So kabara, kabir would just mean big. But the alif, and then for example, asghar. Do you guys know saghir? Asghar. Have you heard of this one? So saghir means small, and then asghar would be the smallest. So things like that. So alif, another suffix, or sorry, prefix. Good job. I think we have time for one more. Hiba, you want to go? Can't hear you. Are you on mute?
No.
Okay, now I can hear you.
ثم إنكم بعد ذلك لميتون. So thumma is then. Inna was indeed. Kum is like for you, like plural.
Not for you, because for you would be lakum.
Okay. Indeed, like you plural.
Good.
Ba'da is after. Dhalik was that.
Or this, yeah.
Or this. And then lemayitun is from mayit, which is something to do with death.
Yeah.
Un is plural, and then the la. So la was like for.
Yeah, but also like with reference to. So we'll get to it.
Okay.
Does the gist of the verse make sense? What it means?
So after indeed, after that indeed, you will die.
So yeah, thumma innakum, then verily you, ba'da dhalik, after this. So it's like then you after this, la mayitun, will be of the dead. Mayitun, la mayitun, because this is like in the noun form. Mayitun, yeah. Or maybe it's still a verb, but in the noun form of a verb, I think. Because it's not amwatun. Amwat, like amwata would be people who are dead. So yeah, and the la is referring to it, but we can leave that for now. But it makes sense, right? Thumma innakum. So thumma is then, and then ba'da is after. So they both refer to that, like the time coming next. But it's then you all after this will die. La mayitun. I think the la here also adds emphasis. You know? And the inna is also emphasis, so it's like you will surely. I'm gonna add that to the note. And then the mayyit, for example, you will see this in quite a lot of forms. For example, one of the ones I just mentioned, like amwata. Amwata is like the noun form. Amwata. And then maut is actual death. Okay. Mutu. Ooh, that's something we haven't learned. Maybe I'll just introduce. Mutu is kind of like a command, die. But we'll see. Namutu. Namut would be we die, exactly. If we wanted to say you die, that would be you die. You die. Tamut, yeah. Why does it sound strange? Tamut, you die. Okay, how about I'm trying to add a kum there, so if it was motikum, what would that be?
You die.
No, not you die, because now it's maut. So maut, remember, is death. It's the noun form now.
Your death?
Exactly. And your being plural. Just adding these on here. Anyway, just to kind of like get you familiar, but you don't have to remember all these forms right now because they'll come very naturally once we do it enough times. Cool? Good for today. And I will see you on whenever the next day is.
Wednesday, inshallah.
Yeah, just keep revising these verses. Like when you read them, try to make sure that you know what's being said. Even if you don't remember all the rules or the grammar or the words, sometimes just knowing the translation or memorizing the translation also helps your process. Cool?
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.